Alright, so this is going to be kind of a step 2 or part 2 to the Emulation Station Desktop Edition for Steam. I've installed it from EmuDeck, but essentially this is just ESDE short form, or Emulation Station Desktop Edition. And it's kind of what it looks like more set up. So if I just exit game for a second, on my Steam homepage, right, like of my library, I have all my games here. Some of these are like games that I haven't fully tested yet, but they're games that are in ESDE, but they also can be played from here. This is through EmuDeck, not ESDE. ESDE is almost like a whole separate thing, essentially. It's its own front end, which basically just adds a nicer look and interface to your library of games. So a few things I've done since I think the last video. Number one, I added a few more categories. The one here called All Games. So I have multiple folders here of all my systems, right? Not all of them. I only have a few on here, but you can add more. But the point is, they're all on here. And then there's a All Games. So all the games that are on this, all my emulation games, are there. If you have any favorite games, they'll show up here separately in its own folder. Last Played is a category I use quite often. So if you play, if you play a few games here and there, that's a good area to look at. The Arcade folder, I'm still getting used to how that works, but what I think it does is every game that's either a name, Capcom 1, 2, or 3, I think that's all it is right now. It's combining these 3 and maybe Neo Geo as well. These are mostly arcade games. Combines them into one folder. I don't have MAME on here, and I don't have FB Neo on here, but I would also throw those in here, all those games. And so that's going to be another video of adding more games and stuff to it. But what I will most likely use this system for anyway is Xbox Original, Xbox 360, N64, GameCube, maybe some Wii U, some Saturn, some Neo Geo. So a bit of everything, but more of the 3D graphic games, I guess you'd call it. So I kind of want to show you how it looks so far. So this is a custom skin that I have. I haven't done too much to it. So if I go to UI settings and you go to theme downloader, this is a theme I've used a few times. It's called Elementarial, and there's a bunch of different ones in here you can choose from, obviously. I like the look of this one. If I go into, let's say, Xbox, you can change how all this looks. So by default, these are all going to be blank until you scrape it all. Scrape all the media stuff. So I'm going to go over that in just 1 second, but I just want to show you the UI settings. So you want to make sure you have enough space on your SD card. That, let's say you have a 1 terabyte SD card. I would fill it up to like 800 gigabytes of games, and then leave like the 200 gigabytes for extra stuff and for all your scraping media. So that's going to be your box art. That's going to be all of your videos and stuff like that. It makes it a lot more of a polished look, so you need to make sure you leave some room for that. But so if every theme you download will have theme variants, and you can change a few different looks here. So you have some here that are called modern, and then you have some classic ones, and you have some video ones. I think they all look a little different. So if I do like the basic view, and then it'll restart the look. That's just a basic overview of all the games. Nothing much there. But if I hit, like, let's say, I don't know, I'm in Sarge's War and hit X, there's media there that we scrape. This is some gameplay of it. There's the box art front, back, title screen, in-game screenshot. And then this is the merged file, which I think is called the mix image. So if I do the basic view, I could do the video view. This one here is called the elemental flicks. I think that's what it does. It combines everything together. So it kind of combines the gameplay shot there, and then it goes to the actual gameplay video. You have the box art. You have the title marquee up here. You know, you got more stuff there. This looks good, but I like the list view a bit better, personally. So I would do something like, let's try a video view, how it looks. So that's what it's going to do, is just going to show you a little video that plays there. Detail view, I think that's the one I normally go to. Yeah, so this is one I like. It kind of shows you the marquee, gameplay, and then if you hover over for a second, maybe this is the wrong one, but it should play the video. Let's see, maybe it's a different, maybe it is the grid large that I like. A few different looks here. Okay. This is the grid is what I have on my big TV. It's a lot easier to see everything than the list view, but I find the list view is what I like to do on my handhelds. So then there's some classic ones. So if I do like classic detailed view, let's see what that looks like. They're similar. And then if I do the video detailed view, let's see what that looks like. I can change the art back there. There's a few more things here. Color scheme, you can change the colors of. So me, I have it dark and then mint. Change that to like grape, and then it's gonna change all this to, you know, purple. I like the mint. You could do system on startup, so you can have it start up automatically on the Xbox folder here if you wanted, or you can have it start up on the emulators page, but by default is I think it's all games is the default one. Media viewer, display media types. No, I don't want that. Display stretch videos to screen resolution. Scan lines. Screensaver. Alright, so that's that for that, I guess. Oh, so that's what it does. It changes the look of this. So the video, the classic. So we do classic. I think it'll be like whatever. I guess Halo, and then Halo and Gears. And if I do modern, nothing changed there. And then video changes that. Also plays a video. Yeah, I don't like that. Wolfenstein. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna do like the modern view just for now. Kind of like that look. All right. So yeah, you go through all your stuff here. This is all scraped. So how I did the scraping, basically you have to do this in a few different steps. So scraper, first thing I do is called screen scraper. There's two, there's Games DB and the screen scraper. The Games DB doesn't scrape the videos and stuff. The screen scraper scrapes everything. So start with this one first. The first you're gonna do is all games, and you're gonna go down and select all systems. Let it do its first thing. It'll take a while. Account settings, you have to enter your account information from that website, screenscraper.fr, and then you can choose what content you want. Maybe you don't want videos, maybe you don't want all this stuff. You're gonna want obviously game names and stuff. Maybe you don't want fan art images or the game manuals, but it's gonna try to find everything it can from the website. And then you go to other settings and you can change your region. So I have it scraped for the US version of the game, and the preferred language is English for me. And it's going to try, you can do it in interactive mode, but if you have a lot of games, I wouldn't do this. If you have a few games, I would come back to do this stuff maybe a little bit later. And it kind of brings up one thing at a time, and you can say, do you want this version or this version? And it's kind of more interactive, but honestly, just do this first. You hit start, it'll go through all your games. It does that, and then it'll find most games that work. But for example, like Xbox, these were all named, Crash to Insanity.xiso, which is the file name. I had to remove all the .xio because when it searched for that name, it didn't find a match because it was looking for that full name. So sometimes you have to do it a few times. So you do the full scrape, and then what you would do is you come back, and instead of doing all games, you're going to do games that don't have a video, for example, right? And then you're going to do the systems again. You're going to select all, and now you're going to do your second scrape. And the second scrape is going to basically look for all the ones that don't have videos. So it's going to skip all the other ones, and that's going to be your best bet. And then I would go to the Games DB, and I would say anything that doesn't have game images, because again, this one doesn't scrape videos, I would do that. Let's do it all again. And then at the very end, if nothing is still found, I would go maybe once again, no metadata for this one. And now I would do the interactive mode, and then it's going to find games that might not have any information on it, right? And then this is the interactive mode where you can, so there's no game here, arcade game called Boss King and Star Destroyer. So you can try to find what name it is. Maybe it's not called that, maybe call it something different. For example, we'll skip that one. Maybe we'll find one that's actual. Sometimes it might find different versions of it, so you can try to refine your search. With Xbox ones, I had to get rid of the. If I would find the search, it was like the name was wrong. So if I just typed in like 1777, and hit OK with that, see if that comes up with anything. No games found. So it's going to take a few times for you to do this, but Let's stop that. So I did it 3 different times that way, and I got most games to show up properly. Then what you can do manually, let's see, you can go to all games. So this is all my games. I'm gonna go through. Yeah, they all have. Well, I have 2 copies of there actually. If I delete one of those, that one didn't have a game on it, right? That one we just checked, we couldn't find it. Maybe there's another one on here that doesn't have any. Okay, here we go. Here's a few of them. This one's a Neo Geo game, and so I can hit the options button here, go to edit this game's metadata, and I can do a scrape just for that one game and see if I can find anything. And it will say, there we go, we got one here. This looks right to me. It has all the ratings, it has, the name of the game, everything there. And this is the one you want to hit. You hit OK, and now that game is going to have that metadata. So if it doesn't find one off the bat there, I have to hit yes, save changes. Sorry, I didn't do that step. And then you hit apply, and now that's there. So let's see this game, for example. Let's pretend that it couldn't find it. So what I would do is I go to Scraper, change this to the game's DB, and now when I go to options, edit this metadata, scrape, it's going to scrape from the game's DB instead. Didn't find it, so what I'm going to do is go back to Screen Scraper, and then scrape it again. And it might not be able to find this one because it's got a weird slash in there, so it's trying to find that full name. So maybe if I get rid of that, see what it comes up with now. Okay, there we go. Does that look like, yeah, that's probably the right one. And then I hit yes, okay. So it searched that full name and it didn't find anything with that full name, but it's pretty close. And then save data, and then apply. So now it's there. The same thing will happen if you go through all your games and let's say you play a game and it doesn't really work off the bat. Let's say N64, I play A Bug's Life, it doesn't work. What I can do is hit the options button on that one game, again, edit metadata, and go down to the bottom, and you can choose alternative emulator. And this, by system default, is going to choose this emulator, and if that one does not work for this specific game, you can try a different one, and see what one does work. And then, again, save it so that only that one game will play off that one specific emulator, and that's going to get you a lot further. I guess there's a few games I did actually just miss scraping, but that's okay. Yeah, anyway, this is kind of how it looks, right? So let's say I find a game like Advance Wars 2, that's my favorite game, whatever. You hit the Y button, favorites. It's not gone, but what it does is it goes to the very top. There's a little star there. You can change that feature so it's going to stay where it was and still have a star, and then in the favorites category it's now there. And this game is from Game Boy Advance, so you go to the Game Boy Advance tab, again all your favorite ones go to the top. I like having that feature, but if you have a bunch of favorite games, then it's going to kind of build up. You also go and search as well. You go to favorite games, and there's a jump to button, filter game list. You can filter it by the game name, right? So I can go like, oh, I want to find I don't know, Halo, for example. I don't know, whatever you want, right? And then back, apply. It finds all my Halo games, and I guess there's the Halo port I have on here too from the Atari 600. And then it finds all the Halo games for you, and then you get to go back and reset that. you know, I think it's pretty cool. You can kind of just have, there's a bunch of duplicate games here I gotta go through. Like, I don't need the same version of this game 3 times, but some games you do need that. For example, I don't know if I have it on here. I know Gauntlet Legends. If I go up to the GA. Here we go. Gauntlet Legends. So it's the N64 version, there's a PS1 version, and this Dreamcast version. That one's not scraped. But these 3 games are the same game, but they're different versions of the game. So the N64 has less features. The PS1 has, like, you can choose what thing you want to throw, like your power up, whatever it is. So there's different features with the game. I find the PS1, the Dreamcast of this game specifically, works better. But it depends what you want to play. You know, they're different versions, different ports have different features sometimes. So, for example, Battle Tanks. There's another one that I know of. Up to B. I can also use my bumpers. Let's go by a whole page at a time. Battle Tanks is another one. Battle Tanks. I don't have the PS1 version on here. So there's the N64 version, which I love this one. Global Assault is really fun. And it plays perfectly fine on the N64. The PS1 version of this game has double the levels and better graphics. So, like, this is a game I have physically still. When I was a kid. Loved the game, played it so many times, and then I rediscovered it again on PS1 because there's double the levels, you know, and it's just really cool to kind of play the alternate version of that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with this. Sound settings is all pretty normal. Game collections. So if you go to game collections, these you'll see it as nothing for when you first start. What I did is I added all games, favorite games last played. You can do a custom collection of, like, you know, Halo, right? And you can add all your Halo games in there, and then have a, you know, category, new collection name. I can do Halo, right? And then, so Halo's there, or like Metal Slug, or Mario, or whatever. So if I go to, like, here and find my Halo game, Halo, and I do options, I can I can hit Y. Now instead of adding it to the favorites, it's going to add it to the Halo. I thought I had Halo 2 on here too. I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe I don't have it on here yet. Like a Halo 3, Halo Reach, I don't have Halo 2. Okay. So I can add that game, I can add that game, I can add that game. You can also do this from the all menu and search, but just to show you quickly. Now if I go to my Halo, all my Halo games are there in the Halo collection. So let's say Zelda, you want to have all your Zelda games in one collection. You know, you'd go to your all games, you know, so I would type in jump to, I can even do this, jump to H, or I can do the name, right? I can go Halo, or like Metal Slug. I had a category called Metal Slug with all my Metal Slug games on there. And then apply. Okay, so I missed that game, so I can add that game as well. So yeah, I don't have Halo 2 on my Steam Deck. And I have, looks like, the original and then the 360 version. Didn't know it came out on the 360, honestly. I guess I only played the original. But that makes sense. Yeah, that's 360. That's cool. Better graphics too. See anyways, that's that. And then I can go back to my collections and I can hit finish editing Halo. And then now if I go to another game, it'll say like add to favorites instead of add to Halo, right? So it's kind of a cool way to have a collection. I think there's another way you can do collections where it's based off of a theme. Completed. I don't want those. No. You can group collections together. You can hide collections. What other things we have? Oh yeah, alternative emulator. The directory for your game media. Always save game metadata. There's a bunch of options here. Nothing crazy you need right now though. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for Emulation Station Desktop Edition. And so yeah, I'm gonna spend a bit more time, add a few more games, but this is, you know, pretty much kind of where I want my system to be. I do want to add some more artwork just to polish everything out because I don't have everything here, and I kind of want to get rid of these arcade folders and just have the one arcade folder here, so I can combine those into the arcade folder instead of having them separately. Just clean up the systems a bit, add that to more Xbox games. But overall, ESDE is a lot of fun. Just want to see how this should just play right off of the Xenia emulator, for example. But my favorite games I'd probably add through EmuDeck to Steam, and you can play those specifically from there as opposed to going through your Emulation Station Desktop Edition. Oh, well, no network connection. This 343 Industries didn't release this for Xbox 360. It's definitely Bungie, so I don't know what happened there. Anyways. Oh, Halo Reach. And whoa, what's going on there? So that's going to be something to do with the Xenia. Sign in. Okay, here we go. Sign in. Okay. So within. How do I do Xenia? This is those visual artifacts. I have to change the renderer from Vulkan to OpenGL or vice versa. One works better than the other. But anyways, that's the that game working. Anyways, thanks for watching this quick one for Emulation Station Desktop Edition on the Steam Deck. Thanks.